From the Caribbean News Desk, the Morning Edition. Good morning. I'm Kendol Morgan.
And I'm Denis Chabrol with the latest from across the Caribbean.
As CARICOM governments grapple with the region's growing crime problem, they're concerned that the courts may not be playing a strong enough part in the fight. Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley says the role of the judiciary was part of deliberations on the regional crime situation, which dominated a caucus of regional heads at the recent CARICOM summit in Grenada.
We convened about 4 o'clock in the evening and we met until 10:30 the night. 80% of that time was spent on the issue of crime, violence, and criminality in our territories. Every single one of the prime ministers who were there had this fierce urgency to have CARICOM focus on this matter because it's a problem in every CARICOM territory.
Dr. Rowley says the government's concerns with the judiciary include extended delays and the length of sentences.
I could tell you one thing that was common, and it is the whole question, one, of the inordinate delay in dispensing justice, and two, the disconnect between the decision makers in the judiciary and those who experience crime and criminality on the streets or in their homes. CARICOM prime ministers are in fact flabbergasted that some people believe that we are not yet sufficiently under the gun, literally and figuratively, when they make decisions about the few criminals who we put our hands on.
Leaders of the 6 independent nations of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States have collectively agreed to endorse Venezuela's recent controversial elections. While their CARICOM colleagues declined to do so, the OECS leaders issued a joint statement on the outcome of Venezuela's recent presidential elections. The statement, which followed a virtual weekend meeting, congratulated President Nicolas Maduro on his victory and re-election for a third term. The OECS heads said they stand in the principle that elections must be free as the expression of the will of the people and free from outside interference, and they must be fair. Those who endorse the Venezuelan elections are the prime ministers of Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. CARICOM's recent summits in Grenada saw several heads of government issuing separate national statements. The CARICOM chairman, Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell of Grenada, told the end of summit press conference that this did not indicate that CARICOM was divided on the issue.
The Jamaica government yesterday launched a Rebuild Jamaica initiative as its latest response to the devastation caused by Hurricane Beryl to a number of communities. A key feature of the initiative is the provision of direct cash payments to the many residents looking to repair or replace house roofs.
Jamaica will be tightening its laws that govern utilities such as electricity supply. Prime Minister Andrew Holness yesterday expressed frustration that after more than 1 month of disruption to supply by Hurricane Beryl, the privately owned Jamaica Public Service is yet to restore power to several areas.
In fact, we are deeply dissatisfied by the way in which electricity is being returned to some affected communities.
He says his administration will be going to Parliament to amend legislation to hold utilities more responsible.
There needs to be tighter regulation, and it falls on the legislators now to start to look at the instruments that govern how the utility operates and how the utility operator operates, to ensure that the customer is protected, particularly in the time of an emergency and a disaster. And I want to just make that known publicly here, that that process will begin shortly.
More Caribbean countries are signing on to a high-tech software system to help law enforcement detect and interdict transnational criminals and terrorists. Interpol Washington says that with support from the CARICOM Implementation Agency for Crime and Security Impacts, Trinidad and Tobago has joined the system. It's the second country to have joined, just 10 days after Barbados did so. Through Project Terminus, an Interpol Washington team successfully installed 2 custom software solutions, the Stolen and Lost Travel Documents Workbench and the Stolen Motor Vehicles Workbench. These systems empower the Caribbean countries to efficiently share, manage, and extend vital document and vehicle information with 195 other Interpol member nations.
Elsewhere in the news, it's Independence Day in Jamaica as the country marks the anniversary of its break from British colonial rule in 1962.
Today is also Emancipation Tuesday in the British Virgin Islands, as the territory observes a second day of emancipation activities.
It is also Culturama in St. Kitts and Nevis, as the country also extends the Emancipation holidays with a festival that showcases its cultural heritage.
And it's Carnival Tuesday in Antigua and Barbuda as it wraps up this year's festival with costume parades through capital St. John's. This has been the morning edition from the Caribbean News Desk. You may contact us by phone or WhatsApp at +592 700 9293. Thanks for listening.